Hello everyone, it's Kaifu here with another video for you guys. Today's video will be a metagame breakdown for the Italy Grand Prix that happened last weekend. Now this Grand Prix is actually pretty big compared to other Grand Prix before. This was at least minimum 200 attendance, which is quite a lot. I think it's the biggest one I remember, because the last one I remember was maybe 180. I think I could be wrong again. I think 200 is a really good number, especially for a game that has a bad reputation, you know, what people are saying and so on, but it doesn't matter. It's just another video for another day. But in this video I'll be discussing about the top 16 decks that has been overperforming, and so yeah, let's get on with it. So in this top 16 lineup is actually very diverse compared to previous format, because if you guys don't remember, most previous format is dominated by 2 decks or even a third one out of nowhere. Usually it's 2 to 3 decks being dominated, but in this Grand Prix there was actually 6 different decks taking the top 16 slot, which is a good indication that this current format prior to L3 is very healthy. It's a good indication that Force Will is doing really well with the obviously with the not in the environment, with the format and so on when it comes to making cards and so on. Obviously Force Will has made mistakes before back then and so on, but however they are quickly learning, they are quickly fixing it. Hopefully they fix more about it later with the with some minor stuff, but other than that, it's pretty good so far. 6 different decks making top 16. Now usually the Grand Prix in general are usually top 8, so surprisingly there is top 16 for this this Italy Grand Prix. Now if you were wondering, well, what will be the top 8 then? Well, in top 8 there was actually 5 different decks, different types of decks, which I'll explain later. Let's go on with the top 16 first. Now top 16, there was 1 Valentino 2.0, 3 Valentino 3.0, 4 Feasting Turbo, 3 Light Fox, 4 Aula OTKs, which is kind of surprising, and 1 Lumia Hook. Now it shows that this current format, as I mentioned before, is very healthy. A lot of different types of decks and doing so well, but it does show one common stuff with this with these majority of these decks. At least 2 out of the 4 decks in top 16s shows a good indication is a very combo oriented type of format at the moment. Feasting Turbo is a combo type of deck trying to drop fibers and dragons and so on, and Broly, etc, etc. Light Fox, same thing, except for dropping fibers and so on. They drop the Chimeras on the sideboard, allow them to get really aggressive mana ramping and so on. Aula OTK is pretty much a very combo orientated. You draw that 1 card, and if your opponent cannot stop this from resolving and from killing you, they are pretty much dead. And obviously Lumia Hook is a very common strategy or common deck most likely people will be seeing. Pretty much you loop the hook, once the hook stays on the field for a few turns, and if the opponent doesn't get rid of it, obviously the loop will start from there. So let's go with the breakdown. I believe the breakdown, as I said before, 1 3 4 3 4 1, so pretty much 1 Valentine, 2.0 and so on. So if this was the top 8, there would be 3 Aula, 1 Fox, 1 Valentina 2.0, 1 Feasting, and 2 Valentina 3.0. So again, very diverse. It's just that sadly Lumia Hook did not make in top 16, so pretty much didn't do anything in top 16 or whatever. But yeah, it shows that, like I said before, if this was still in top 8, Aula was pretty overperforming compared to other decks by the looks of it. Especially 3 out of the top 16 actually took this top 8 slot. It's quite impressive from my point of view, because as I mentioned before, Aula OTK usually rely on 1 card and 1 card only. You have to draw that single card. If they don't, it's pretty much in there a lot of trouble. So let's go to the breakdown of the top 16 cards, or top 16 strategy they were using. I don't know why I say energize for, but whatever. So Valentina 2.0, I checked the deck list for that single Valentina 2.0. They were using, or he was using, a mana ramp type of deck. So it's very similar to the combo oriented when I was using like 4 Melfi, 4 Sacred Elf, but he's actually doing the control package instead. So by maining Lunar Lake, Time Space, and Scones, so using hand control, like enter ability control and time space for removal, which is quite interesting because I haven't came across or approach to this type of like strategy. Usually most Valentina 2.0 quickly rush to Valentina by J activating, swing for a lot of damage, and Godok for like God who knows, like a lot of damage and so on, and obviously your opponent can barely recover from that. But this shows that this is a different type of build, a very heavy control build with Scone, with hand control, time space for removal, Lunar Lake to control like all enter ability if it's going out of control, which is really strong. Next we have Valentina 3.0. Obviously it's very common what we see in the previous Grand Prix in America. I can't remember which date it was, but yeah, it's mostly hand control and removable as well. So time space, Dark Storm, Scorn, Hit and Miss, and there was another hand destruction card that was actually used. It was actually from the Vingo set from the second set. 2 darkness, well not 2 darks, 1 darkness and 1 colorless, which allows you to look upon your opponent's hand and discard 1 card. Pretty interesting card because I never thought people will use it because I said before it could be too slow, 2 mana, just look at your opponent's hand and discard 1 card. Scorn and Nameless Mist can do better than that, but obviously the Italy players or the Italian players took to the next level, actually making that card viable. So at least there's something viable in Vingo 2, just saying. Other than that, that's pretty much common sense or common strategy that Valentina 3.0 should be using hand control and removal as well. Pretty strong, and obviously using the Charlotte and Stealth resonators, which is 4 Reza and 2 Melder. Surprisingly, they didn't use a lot of Melder; they only used 2 Melders. So it seems that they don't rely on Melder too much. They rely on the Rezas and Charlotte. Next will be Facing Turbo. Again, very generic combo into Guaiba very quickly with Adam Brawley and so on, etc. etc. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys should know what Facing Turbo does now, so no big explanation. Light Fox are pretty much calling big chimeras, which is pretty obvious, that's what Fox does, but using Butterfly to toolbox the deck as well, allowing them to bring whatever cards they need, especially from the sideboard and so on. So yeah, pretty good idea. I just didn't know that Light Fox can be very impactful compared to the other colors, which is like blue and green and black, because green and black is a bit more consistent in a way, while the blue one has the access to like Lunar Lake and so on. But Light Fox does have access to Seal, Wind and Light and Butterfly. So pretty cool strategy. Obviously I didn't actually watch the whole series of because it was quite late during my time, so, and I actually don't have time to watch it at the moment, so I can watch some of it but not all of it. But yeah, Light Fox pretty good, toolboxing, chimeras and so on. Obviously if you need your monkey, you need your Thomas or whatever you need, at least have Butterfly to access to it so you don't put yourself way behind. OTK, now this is the very surprising one. Actually 4 of them took 4 slots from top 16 and 3 of them took top 3. 4 of them, let me say that again. Top 16 there was 4 slots taken by our OTK, and top 8 there were 3 slots taken by our OTK. Okay, that was a bit better. I don't know why I just butchered, like, I don't know, whatever. So to me that's very surprising because, like, again, OTK is heavily relying on 1 card to win. If they don't draw it, they are in a lot of trouble, but they have ways to help themselves because they actually mainboard 4 Hydromonica, which allows them to pay 2 resource, crack it, and search for a card and put it on the top of the deck. So if they need that 1 card, they can search for it. So literally they are playing 8 copies in the deck, so pretty interesting. And not only that, they're using a lot of mana ramp engine as well, like Melfi, Sacred Elf, which is quite important because we are in a combo oriented format and you need those mana ramp cards. Obviously Tyler was being played as well for the draw power and so on, and obviously our OTK uses Final Forfeit, not the Final Forfeit, Final Breeze, sorry. Final Breeze is pretty much a pseudo cancel spell in a way, by bouncing it back to the opponent's hand, and it was the 2nd card being used or more. It actually do the Lord Silent effect, which is kind of cool. So yeah, it was surprising to me because it took 4 slots in top 16 and 3 slots in top 8. So it shows that how actually consistent it is, because I thought it would get destroyed literally by other decks out there, but it shows that how wrong I am. So 4 decks took top 16 and 3 took top 8. Pretty cool. Lumia Hook. Now this is quite interesting because this was the underperforming deck out there. Lumia Hook barely made it. I think it got the 16th slot. Very surprisingly, this deck actually underperformed. Maybe a lot of players actually was prepared for it with sideboarding or mainboarding hate cards against Lumia Hook. Perhaps that's the reason why it was underperforming in this tournament. Again, I thought Lumia Hook will be overwhelmed and so on, but however, it shows that the Italian players are actually doing really well against Lumia Hook, using like a lot of control spells, cancel spell against it. If you go combo off, I'm gonna combo off with my chimeras and so on, like stuff like that. It shows that how open-minded with their strategy is. They know that Lumia Hook is a thing, but they could try something else to beat it, which is quite cool. And obviously this Lumia Hook is a bit different, maybe just one little card different from the standard card, because he did mainboard I believe Barrier Ancient or Ancient Barrier, I can't remember what it's called. The card pretty much forced control players to struggle a lot, but pretty much that's pretty much it. So it shows that in all top 16 there were 3 cards that was actually overused in this tournament. It's pretty obvious. Cards are Tama, Sacred Amalfi. 42 cards was used in that top 16 deck list. So by calculating 42 divided by 4, so 4 copies, it shows that at least 11 decks was using it. So a very high amount, 11 out of 16. So pretty much 11 decks are using Tama. So it shows that Tamas are really popular. So get your Tamas while you're at it. And Sacred Elf 35 copies being used in top 16, so 9 decks was using it. Pretty standard. Like a lot of these cards are pretty standard, and 27 copies of Melfi being used in top 16, so 7 decks have been used in top 16. Again, the ratio, it could be the deck wise could be wrong, because I am using like X amount divided by 4, and that gives me the amount how many people were using in the decks. Again, some people might use 2, some people might use 3 even. I could be dead wrong with the ratio, but this is just a minimum indication, so on. So yeah guys, how do you guys feel about this meta at the moment? It's very diverse, with 6 different decks making top 16 and 5 different decks making top 8. Very interesting format, and remember, this is prior to L3. I can't wait for L3 to come out. This might even shake up the format to maybe increase more diversity or even reduce it, who knows. We have to wait till L3 comes out, but a lot of L3s has been like spoiled out already. Very interesting and so on. So yeah, so guys, leave a comment section down below what do you guys think about this current format and so on. So other than that, thank you for watching, thank you for listening guys, hope you guys enjoyed it. See you guys next time, peace.